Sorry. All right, let's see. Go line for that.
I'm just gonna get the clicker.
Yep. All right.
I'm gonna get the clicker just because it feels right, even though we want
Yeah, that's fair.
Are we streaming?
Yeah, we're live on both.
All right. All right, good evening, Athens. I'm student meteorologist Emily Kirk, and I'm taking a look at the severe thunderstorm warnings that we did have and the system that produced those severe thunderstorm warnings. They have moved out of those areas, and it's no longer a severe thunderstorm warning. However, a special weather statement was just issued for the Clark County, Athens area. So a special weather statement is issued when a thunderstorm has winds of around 40 miles per hour and heavy downpours, cloud to ground lightning. So it's just as serious as a severe thunderstorm warning, just a little bit less of an intense sort of storm. So we are about to get hit with all of that. You see, can you zoom in just a little bit closer to Athens for me, Mason?
Yep.
Mason is also in the studio with us this evening as we take you guys through this weather right now. So we see this big, this big part of the system. It's really about to hit Athens right now. We can actually show you the storm track. Let me show you. Do you know how to do that? There is this little friend here. And then you put it towards press now so you can put it.
Yep, now.
And then do it towards where this is.
So
and then drag it out.
Okay, so it's going kind of this way, around 40 miles per hour.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Yep.
And then, yeah.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it's looking like right now for storm tracking.
Yep. So it is going to kind of go a little bit north of Athens. So we may see only, parts of it. But as, Carnesville, Sandy Cross, Commerce, Nicholson, Bogart, we're expecting those cities to get hit with some of this rain, this thunderstorm ahead of us. I keep trying to say severe thunderstorm warning, but that's not it yet. This could definitely still produce a severe thunderstorm warning if it gets strong enough again, but right now we're just tracking these storms and seeing where they are going to go. Actually, we can also do the forecast map and show that as well.
Yeah, so you're talking about radar? Or we're
about,
we're on radar now. So
the regular forecast map that we would use if we weren't live.
Let's see if we have that on here, because we might not.
Right there.
Here we go, forecast map.
Actually, use this one. This one's better.
Yeah, it's closer. Give that a second, it's loading in.
Of course. So slow.
There we go.
Yeah, so if we want to take a look at if you want to delete the pauses, that might help a little bit. So we can see how that really is going to move through the area over in the northeastern part of it's going.
There's a lot of pauses.
All right, we're going to delete the pauses and then we're going to roll that back through for y'all.
There we go. And let's play out.
Yeah, so it's as we go throughout the evening, we're going to see those storms really hit northeast Georgia, Toccoa around 11:30 p.m. and then it should clear out a little bit. And I think we're expecting, this one isn't showing it as much, but I have seen some models that bring up some more storms throughout. If you can pause it, you can, because this is into Friday. I have seen some models where the storms move out through the rest of tonight.
Right there.
Yeah, and then I've seen some more models that after this moves through around 1 a.m., 2 a.m., we've got some more that come from the south and blow back up right around the southeastern part of Athens. So I think we could definitely see some more this evening and into tonight. So you're just going to try to stay weather aware tonight. Just because there's no severe thunderstorm warning with it does not mean it can't, do any damage. Just because it's not 60 mile an hour winds. 40 mile an hour winds are still very strong, and a weak tree, power lines, anything on the ground, debris, anything that has been left in the yard, a garbage can, those can all become something that can become dangerous. And if you're on the roads, you're driving, especially you want to make sure you're careful, as heavy downpours at night can make your visibility a lot less. So you really just want to make sure we're staying weather aware. You're checking that radar throughout tonight, and we'll keep you guys updated throughout tonight. If you want to show again the
radar?
Yes, the regular radar.
Got it. Let's see.
Yeah, so here it is again. Really up from Gainesville all the way down to Madison and Shadydale below I-20 is where we're seeing most of this. It's moved out of Gwinnett County, Lawrenceville. That is where we saw some of the severe thunderstorm warning affect that area. So we were trying to go live for that, but we missed that part, but we're just making sure we're paying attention to this right now. So if a severe thunderstorm warning does pop up, we are ready for it. We do also have some rain in Enterprise, Alberton, those storms as well. Those are not as intense, but again, just because there's not a severe thunderstorm warning label on it does not mean it can't produce damage. You really should still be careful. You want to be indoors, away from windows, really paying attention to our weather right now. So, Mason, do you want to add anything, or here, I'll get closer to you so we can hear with the microphone.
So speaking about this, it's looking like it's pretty straight lined. It's very messy. It's very kind of congealed in a way. The storms are fizzling out as they're moving through Athens, Elder, Enterprise, Commerce. But as they are approaching and as they are passing, we are seeing different models that are showing that the storms start to kick up on the flank end of the storm. And we're thinking that that could provide some extra damaging winds, extra intensive rain, possibly even hail. But I don't believe it's going to get that far. But I do think that heavy rain and wind threats are going to be possible as if this storm does ramp up on the flank end.
I'm going to see what this forecast map has showing. Nothing. Okay.
Yeah, some of them don't
Some of them are not so great.
Yeah,
what about
bad.
this
I'll
one?
fire with that one. Yeah.
Yeah, as we go through, this one doesn't show it as much either. So let me see, maybe that has changed because I've been looking at some other resources. Here, I'll show you this one. Maybe we can pull it up on, we can see what the NAM and the HER is saying on Weather Bell.
Yeah.
The Weather Channel has it. See, it pops back up.
Yeah, it's there's still that back end trailing part of that storm. So I definitely think that the model they're using is probably strengthening it. It could.
Do you want to pull up NAM and HER and see what?
Yeah, let me take a look at NAM and HER.
So we're trying to stay as accurate as we can with what tools we have.
NAM 3K. Let's look at the states.
All right, so Mason right now is pulling up some models. Oh, let me pull up the actual storm. That'd be helpful.
So it does look like it's the NAM is showing pretty much. It's pretty much showing just this this storm moving through, and possible scattered, isolated thunderstorms tailing after. But it's showing that the storms are pretty much non-existent until Friday at around 8 a.m.
Okay, so what about the HER?
Yeah, so the HER might be better suited for this.
So what we're doing right now is we're just going through the models and seeing if they agree or disagree, and that's a different initial.
Yeah, we just initialize it back. Yeah. Yep. All right, so this is around Friday, 3 a.m. So let's go here. Yeah. So
that one lingers for longer. It looks like.
So this one. So it looks like the HER is showing that back spin up, more north of Athens, closer towards like Beaufort,
Alpharetta.
Yeah. So I would definitely say that if you're in that area just north of Athens, there is a possibility that you guys are going to get hit again with some more severe weather.
We can also probably start the virtual camera so that they can see us when we're not
I can
on
try
the
that.
camera.
So let me try that virtual camera.
Let's see if this works.
I think it.
I don't know. Here, we can see if it was working over here.
Yep. We can see.
Good.
Okay.
Okay, I don't know if it's. I don't think it is, but that's okay.
I think it's probably because we're not hooked up. Regardless.
Wait, I think somebody might have turned it off later or earlier, so it's okay. Don't worry about it right now. We'll figure that out another day. That's okay. So yeah, but we're just trying to keep you guys updated with the best information we can. So we do have two different models that we usually use to look at future rain and what that's going to look like. So we have one that is saying after this moves on through that we aren't going to really see anything until tomorrow morning, early 8 a.m., and that'll be much less intense. But then we have another one that is saying after this moves through, we have a little bit more re-intensification. There we go. Behind that, so we're trying to delineate which one would be best. Mason, which do you think would be more accurate? I think that usually the HER is more accurate.
The HER is typically more accurate for close nowcasting, whereas the NAM is better for a little bit further out.
Right.
Because the HER can only go up to roughly 24, maybe 36 hours at max, it doesn't go very far. It's pretty accurate in what it shows. But the best thing we can do for this is actually looking at the two models and see where they coincide with each other. So wherever they overlap that's the most amount of certainty that we can get from this. So if you go to HER, we can take a look at that again.
I wish I knew how to project this onto this, but I do not know. That's okay. I'll actually go back.
So regardless, both models are showing that there is that storm that's moving through, except it does look like the NAM is showing more intense storms at that time. Let's see. Yeah, so they pretty much line up with each other, but it's looking like the HER is showing that back spin up more than the NAM is.
Yeah.
So I do believe that there is a chance that it could happen, but I do not believe that it's going to be strong enough to warrant anything.
Okay.
Because I do not believe that there's any forcing behind it. It might be a cold front. Let's see.
All right, so we're just taking a look at those two models and seeing if we can understand a little bit further into the future, because they are, that's kind of what our job is. We look at the models and then we, delineate which one is better for which outcome, or like what we're forecasting for. So we're doing kind of a closer in forecast. So we're trying to go off the one that is usually better and more accurate for the closer forecast.
So the WPC front is actually showing that there's a hatch chance from the looks of it. From today up until Friday, it looks like there are hatch chances of rain moving into Thursday. So there is a possibility of isolated scattered thunderstorms throughout the week. But from the looks of it, it could be a digging of a trough.
Okay. I think that's what I was reading in the discussion from NWS.
The mesoscale discussion?
Yeah.
It does appear that this isn't caused by a cold front. I do believe that this is caused by a dipping of the trough, upper air like waves essentially.
Let me get closer to you so you can hear.
So from the looks of it, if you want to take a look at this too, just in case you want to see what we're seeing, we are on the WPC, the Weather Prediction Center. You can go onto fronts and you can see kind of an analysis of what they are predicting that the storms are going to do, what synoptic or big scale phenomena are occurring, and it looks like that there's not any waves essentially. There isn't much of a wave in terms of like cold and warm fronts. I do believe though that this is definitely a case of trough activity. So I believe this could be on the right side of the trough, and that right side of the trough typically shows for normal ascent, and that's what's causing these storms to brew. Because I don't see any dry lines. I don't see any of that until closer to Saturday, where you can see it over in Texas. So I do not believe that this is a cold front forcing storm. So I feel like this, because it doesn't have the forcing, could fizzle out.
Okay.
So I do believe that this is probably going to be the most severe part of that storm, and I do not believe it's going to intensify. But I could be wrong, so make sure you guys are staying weather aware. Make sure you guys have any sort of sources out available, such as the National Weather Service, your local stations, because there could be some spin-ups that could happen.
Yes, exactly. I'm just taking a look at these correlation coefficients and the storm relative velocity. We usually use these products more for looking at tornadoes.
You can also use them for hail.
Yeah, and hail. But they aren't really showing much right now, so that is a good sign. We like to see that. But yeah, we've got this storm system continuing to move on through. Can you zoom out just a little bit?
Yeah, we can do that. Yeah. Here we go.
Yeah, so we honestly have this big line of storms basically all the way into South Georgia there. So it really has been, it's been pretty active in central to South Georgia, below I-20 for the past few days while we had a little bit of a break yesterday. And what's interesting is in the spring we usually see these storms that produce severe thunderstorm warnings come from the northwest, but this system has come from the southeast and moved upwards as it progresses. So that's something really interesting to note, and something that could have caused these storms to produce severe thunderstorm warnings is especially this daytime heating. We got really warm today, we got really warm yesterday. There's a lot of energy in the air and a lot of moisture in the air that really have been able to fuel these storms and make them much stronger. If you want to zoom back in, or if you said you wanted to do something else as well, Mason.
I was saying we could look at storm relative velocity.
Sure, yeah.
Any spin. I don't think there is.
I don't think so either.
I don't think there's anything, but it's, I wouldn't, it is fast. You can look at this now and see what's going on. Let's take a look.
Yeah, let me get out of the way a little bit.
Yeah, I'm not seeing much of anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not seeing much of anything with this system.
Can you go down just a little bit towards the south so we can see
Yeah.
Athens more? Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
It's going to be kind of hard to see it because there is a bit of range folding. You can see, to anyone that doesn't know, range folding is a problem that happens with radar. So, especially with storms, if it goes through different mediums, such as hotter air or colder air, radar tends to kind of dip down, and that causes what we call as range folding. And that is a issue that happens with radar. It happens the further away you get from a radar, so I would not be surprised if that's what you're seeing there. But from the looks of it, it does not look like there's any spin, thankfully. So there's no like mesocyclones, there's no rotating updrafts that could provide for that instability or for that forcing that could produce any tornadoes. I don't see any of that. It does look like this is just a pretty bare bones like summer storm.
That's what I was just gonna say. It's just because we've had that daytime heating, because we've had all this moisture recently, it's just really like a textbook definition kind of, afternoon, evening thunderstorm that pops up and really just gets a lot of energy from that, which is, what we see all summer. We finally have broken free from our spring pattern that we got to see for a lot of the spring. Usually it's not as intense as it was this spring. So that's been really interesting, but I hope that we finally broken free from that, and now we're in our summertime pattern where we are hot throughout the day. Afternoon, start to see those cumulonimbus clouds grow and grow and build, and then they just have all this energy throughout the night to use and really just drop a lot of rain and sound really scary, but luckily nothing too intense. Usually tornadoes do not accompany these storms. So
do you want to talk about any warnings that do come up?
Yes. Is there a warning?
Not warning necessarily, but they're talking about flash flooding. So,
I believe that was pretty far south of us, though.
Yeah, Telfair County, Georgia. I'm not sure where Telfair County is.
There was a flash flooding warning further south of us down here, but I don't remember where it was. So.
Yeah, let me look up Telfair, because Telfair may be relatively close to us. Telfair, Georgia. Yeah, that's more south.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot further south.
Yeah, so we don't have to worry about that.
No. No, but Mason was just talking about there was a flash flood warning pretty far south of us. But that is kind of part of the same system that we're seeing right now. And so that is, something that can definitely happen. Maybe there's not a flash flood warning or watch. However, if a very heavy downpour comes through your area and it's not a very well drained area, it could really fill up quick. So you just want to make sure you're kind of staying off the roads as this moves through your area right now. We've got Loganville's kind of getting out of the thick of it now. It's moved into Braselton, also moving away from that. It's a little bit further north of Gainesville as well. And Athens, we are trying to start to see the end of it as well. And then here in Elberton, we're still seeing a lot of rain and thunder move on through that. So, we're seeing it move pretty fast. Again, I said that there was a special weather statement issued for Athens, Georgia, and surrounding areas, Clark County and the surrounding areas, which means that this storm had winds of up to 40 miles per hour, and that is really fast, and that can move a storm really fast. It doesn't have to be 60, 70, 80 miles per hour to be dangerous. So just make sure we're inside right now. We're staying safe. We're staying off the roads. If you are on the roads, you're driving slow, you're driving carefully, have the hazards on, and making sure that you're really careful as we move through this storm. Just one heavy downpour can lead to a crash or hydroplaning. So really, we just want to be careful throughout, not only right now, but like I'm saying, like this is a summer pattern. And so this is something we can see throughout the rest of the summer and into August, September. That is when it kind of starts to die off. So just keep in mind when you're getting on the roads in the evening, anytime during the summer, that this could just pop up out of nowhere after a pretty day. Today was pretty cloudy, but yesterday was a pretty day, and I do know that there were some thunderstorms that did pop up. So just making sure that we're staying weather aware in the summer, absolutely. I can maybe see, what?
No, I was just curious if this is like urban island heating effect. Like I was thinking like maybe that could be the cause of that spur up on the back end of it.
I mean, because it went through Atlanta a little bit.
And then you can see it's starting to pick up again.
Is it? Yeah.
Look, if you look on the northeast on 285, you can see that it starts to pick up again.
Oh yeah.
So I was wondering if that could be the urban heating effect, where Atlanta is much warmer than its surroundings, but I don't think that's the case. Wait, let me here, zoom out real quick. I want to compare. So right now this is around 10. Let's see. Maybe, possibly. What do you think? Because it's 75 right here, and then you have 77 where that's 77, 80 where that storm is. So I don't know if this is. I don't think this is urban.
I mean, it could just be because it cooled off Atlanta and further west of us, so we haven't really cooled off all the way towards the east.
Yeah.
So I think that might be a part of it as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Because it's using the energy right now from the heat.
Oh, definitely.
So.
Because there's a lot of moisture that's being dragged in from that Gulf, and that's what's providing all of that energy, essentially. Yeah. But Emily was talking about earlier.
Let's see.
But I definitely do believe that we should. I do believe we should go off for now, and then if it does pop up again, we could just come back online.
Yeah, then I'll say a little.
Here, just make a brief, including conclusion or statement.
Yeah, could you zoom in just a little bit for me? Yeah, I should have done that before I walked over.
Let's focus more on Athens, because that's where we
are. Yeah. All right, so we are going to take a break from the live right now because we're not really seeing too much in terms of severe weather, but I just want to reiterate, just because there isn't a severe thunderstorm warning does not mean that this can't be dangerous and this can't produce something that could potentially hurt you. Weak trees, debris on the ground, heavy downpours can all be something that can put you in danger. So you want to make sure during these thunderstorms that move through the rest of this evening that you're staying indoors and you're staying away from windows and just really paying attention and being weather aware, as just because right now it's not so severe does not mean it can't ramp back up in just a little bit. And if it does, we will be here and ready to go live for you guys. Thank you for watching. Go Dogs, and stay